Morning. I'm going live this Saturday morning from Root Force Personal Training. It seems that right after my online capoeira practice has been a convenient time, so here I am. I want to show you 3 exercises for your glute medius today. So, glute medius, for those of you guys unfamiliar with the term, your glutes are your butt cheeks. The glute medius is not the big one in the middle, it's a smaller one up to the side, almost right on your hip, a little bit behind it, so kind of the sides of your butt. Now, I've said it many times before, I will continue to say it, the most functional muscle in your body and also the largest, strongest muscle in your body is your glutes, or are your glutes, whatever the proper grammar there is. So glutes are really, really important for physical function. If you want to have a healthy lower back, healthy hips, healthy knees and ankles, and you want to be able to run, jump, climb, walk long distances, you need to have strong glutes. So glute medius, really important exercise. A lot of us are trapped at home and we can't work the glute medius with a machine at the gym, like the Audi machine, things like that. But there's a lot of things you can do at home, very easy to work. So I'm going to take you through this. First exercise is called a lying leg abduction. This is the easiest one, and I'll go up in difficulty. Sorry for the glare there. There's a big sunny spot. So I'm going to lie completely on my side. My body is in a single plane, so my hips are all the way extended. My body is in a plane, so all my bones are in a straight line from my head to my feet. From here, keeping stacked, making sure I don't lean back at all or roll towards my back, very important. I'm going to lift my upper leg. Now notice I don't point my toe up. It's very easy, especially if your glutes are weak, to try and cheat with your quad, the front of your thigh, and your hip flexor. So, and to do that, your body will roll backwards and it will tilt the foot upwards. We want to fight that. So if anything, lean slightly towards your belly, towards the ground here, and think about lifting your heel towards the ceiling. Again, I'm staying in a straight line. My leg is not coming forward at all, and my toe is not pointing up at all. If you can't go that high, don't worry about it. Up, squeeze, down. Up, squeeze, down. Slower is better because you really want to feel the side of the glute, the side of that hip here. And I would do 10 to 15. If that one's pretty easy for you, go ahead and bump it up 20, 30. You can do a lot of reps on this one because the weight is relatively light. But if you don't train your glutes at all, or you're not training in particular, and you're just kind of staying inactive during this time, keep it low and build up. So that's the first exercise. I'll show you guys on the other side really quick, in case you couldn't see my feet from the glare. I'm lying in a flat line. I'm keeping my hips from rolling backwards, so they're staying completely perpendicular to the floor, slightly forward, and I'm lifting my heel towards the ceiling, making sure my leg doesn't drift forward at all. It stays right above the other leg, or sweeps back a little bit. All right, so that's the first exercise. Second exercise, to add a little difficulty, doing this same movement, this abduction of pushing our legs apart from a side plank. And I like to start people off from a knee side plank, which means my knees are bent, my feet are pointed straight behind me, and my body is planar from my head to my knees. So I'm flat all the way down to my legs. I'm not bending my hips at all. So staying planar, I'm up in a side plank, strong elbow right under my shoulder, and I'm going to lift that upper leg. Notice the foot comes too. We don't just lift the knee like a clamshell. You lift the foot too, and you'll feel a whole lot more glute medius activation there. So that's actually a really good intermediate exercise. If you have enough strength in your shoulder to hold you up, this is a great way to build the glute medius without any equipment at all. And you'll also notice that bottom hip is working too. The bottom leg's holding you up. Top leg is lifting the leg. So when you switch sides, the second side is going to be harder. You'll notice, wow, is this side weaker? Maybe, but it also might just be that it's tired from holding you up. Good. And again, showing you from the angle of my legs, I'm not sitting back at all. I'm staying completely extended as I go up. So really important there to stay extended if you want to target the glute medius and lift that foot as well. Now the third one, this actually gets the whole glute. This is an exercise I've come across by following Brett Contreras, the glute guy. He's a strength coach and an exercise science researcher. And this is adding hip extension to the hip abduction. So hip abduction is pushing your legs apart. That's all it's doing. Hip extension is going from bent hips like this to straight hips. So whenever you straighten your hips, that's hip extension. So when we add that in, it makes the same exercise we just did much more difficult, and you can really max out your glutes with no weight at all except for body weight. So to show you what that looks like, I'm going to get in that same position I was just in, and now when I go down, I'm going to go down and back with my hips. So I'm sitting my hips back towards the wall behind me, so they're way cocked. And now I'm going to go up, and I'm simultaneously going to push my hips forward in a hip thrust and lift that upper leg like I just did on the side plank abduction. So that looks like this. It's going forward, up, and apart. Down, together, and back. Notice the foot comes up too. We don't want to go forward and knees apart. We want to lift that back foot high. Okay, and you'll feel right away that bottom leg is working much harder in this movement. So this more becomes a bottom leg exercise than a top leg exercise. So just to show you a few reps, I'm going to do 10 here. Sitting back, up, out, down, back. Up, out, down, back. It's 2, 3, 4. You also look really cool doing this. So this is a great one to show your friends over your Zoom calls. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. See, that is tough. Even I've got a big, strong butt, and even just doing that for 10 with my own body weight, my lower leg is getting tired. It's burning. So if you have pretty strong glutes and you want to challenge them and you're like, what do? I'm at home in my living room. Give this one a try. Again, other side. I got to even it out so you're stuck watching me. I'm going to stack my legs just like I did for the line, just straight abduction. But now I'm going to cock my hips back, sitting back towards that wall. And I'm going to thrust forward and then lift up and out. Making sure my hips go all the way forward, squeezing the glutes, lifting that foot as well as the knee. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, so those are the 3 exercises that you guys can hit for your glute medius at home, 0 equipment, just body weight, quick and easy. I recommend everyone, like my clients are sick of hearing about it, train your glutes 2 or 3 times a week. Doesn't matter if you're doing abductions, hip thrusts, whatever. Get some kind of gluteal exercise every single week, preferably more than once, because it is such an important muscle. It's the biggest, strongest muscle in our body, and it makes sure everything, basically from your ribs down, it keeps everything working right. So if you have any problems, ankles, knees, hips, lower back, you need stronger glutes. They will only help. I recommend doing that, like if you're doing the lying abductions where you're just on your side lifting the leg, that one's lighter and easier. You can do more reps. I would do 2 or 3 sets of 20 to 30, unless it's really tough, then back it off. Make sure to keep your form right because it's very easy to cheat with that thigh by turning the toe up. So lift the heel and don't let the hips roll back. For the lying side abductions in the side plank, the first variety we did, I like to do 2 or 3 sets of 10 to 15. That one's a little tougher. The resistance is a lot higher because you're holding part of your body weight up. And for that last one, the side lying hip raise where you're thrusting as well, that one is hard. So if you're doing that one, you already have pretty strong glutes. Push yourself. See how many you can do before it just gets really sloppy. But I generally will do 3 sets of 10 to 15 there. So do that a couple times a week. Build up those glute medius and you'll have strong knees and ankles. Thank me later. All right, guys. Have a happy Saturday. I'm going to go change out of these sweaty clothes. Take it easy.